You might not care about AI, but AI is definitely going to care about you. There's a famous quote that says, "You may not take an interest in politics, but politics will take an interest in you." The same idea applies to AI, and honestly, even more strongly right now. Whether we like it or not, AI is already changing how we study, how we write, and how we think. Ilya Sutskever, one of the key people behind OpenAI, recently gave a powerful speech at the University of Toronto, and what stood out wasn't hype. It wasn't excitement, it was concern. He spoke openly about how fast AI is moving and how deeply it could reshape the world we live in. He said something that really stuck with me. He explained that we are living in one of the most unusual times in history. People say that kind of thing all the time, but this time it actually feels real. And the reason it feels real is because of AI. Even today's AI has already changed what it means to be a student. The way assignments are done, the way research is approached, the way papers are written, it's all shifting. So in this video, we're not doing fear, we're doing preparation. We're going to break down practical, beginner-friendly moves you can start using right now to get ready for what's coming in AI. How to think about AI like a tool, not a crutch. How to use it responsibly. How to protect your credibility. How to build habits that make you stronger instead of dependent. Because AI is not going away. The real question is whether you're going to let it shape you by accident, or whether you're going to train for it on purpose. Let's start with the part most people miss. The AI shift is not some future event that arrives one day like a storm. It is already here, and it is happening quietly. You can feel it in school, and you can feel it at work. Tasks that used to take hours now take minutes. Research that used to feel slow now feels like it has a fast lane. And that sounds great until you realize what usually happens next. The bar moves, expectations rise, deadlines stay the same, but the output people expect from you gets bigger. Pick up your phone for a second and look at what you already do every day. You search, you write, you summarize, you plan, you respond. AI is already touching all of that. So the real question is not, will AI affect me? The real question is, how deep will it reshape the way I think and work? And am I building the habits to keep up? Because right now, the hardest part is not the tools. The hardest part is that the change is unclear and still evolving. It is hard to prepare for something that keeps changing shape, but it is not impossible. You just need to prepare in the right way, and you need to stop waiting for the perfect moment. Now, here's what makes AI different from almost every other technology people compare it to. It is not just a new tool, it is a tool that learns patterns and keeps improving fast. And even if today's systems still make mistakes, it is already good enough to change how we study, how we write, and how we make decisions. Think about how computers used to work. You gave them strict commands, and they followed those commands. Now you give them language. You give them intent. You give them a messy goal, and they try to interpret it. That shift is huge. It is also why people feel both impressed and uncomfortable, because it is easy to say, AI is cool, but it still messes up. That's true. It can be wrong. It can sound confident and still be wrong. It can miss context. It can struggle with complex reasoning. But the uncomfortable part is what happens when those gaps close little by little. Some people say 3 years, others say 5, others say 10. Let's be honest. None of us can verify the exact timeline, but you do not need the exact timeline to act. You just need to accept one truth. Progress has not slowed down. And if intelligence is something that can be trained through patterns and feedback, then systems that get trained at massive scale will keep improving. That is why the prepare now message matters. Not because you need to panic, but because you do not want to wake up later and realize you wasted the slow years. Here's the part that feels hard to believe emotionally, even if it makes sense logically. If AI keeps improving, we won't only use it for emails, summaries, and quick answers. We will use it to accelerate research, run projects, design experiments, write software, and even build better versions of itself. And when a tool helps build the next tool, progress can speed up. It may not be smooth, it may not be clean, but it can accelerate in bursts. That is why some experts talk about a future where change feels too fast for human institutions to adapt. Schools, labs, hiring systems, publishing systems, even government systems were not built for intelligence that improves this quickly. They were built for a world where expertise is scarce and slow to build. AI challenges that. It makes some parts of expertise cheaper and more available. And when that happens, the advantage shifts to people who can ask better questions, verify better, and move faster without losing integrity. So yes, there is opportunity, but there is also risk. Not just the big, scary risk people argue about online, but the personal risk of becoming dependent, sloppy, and replaceable. If you let AI think for you, your brain will get weaker. If you let AI write for you, your credibility will get fragile. That is why I keep coming back to habits, not hype, habits. There's a quote about politics that basically says, you may not care about politics, but politics will care about you. AI is like that, but more personal. You can ignore AI, but AI will not ignore you. It will still change what your professor expects. It will still change what your boss expects. It will still change what your competitors can do. And the first step of preparation is not some deep technical course. It is awareness through direct use. Let's be honest. Reading opinions online is not enough. Watching debates is not enough. You build real intuition by interacting with the best systems available and noticing what they can do today. Because what feels shocking today will feel normal soon. What feels impressive now will feel basic later. So you need to train your eyes early. You need to see the direction of travel. And while you do that, you also need to carry one ethical rule like a seatbelt. AI can assist your thinking, but AI is not the source of truth. If you treat it like truth, you will get burned. In academia, that usually looks like fake citations, wrong claims, or confident summaries that do not match the original paper. In work, it looks like polished nonsense that falls apart when someone asks you one serious question. Awareness plus verification is the whole game. When I watched that talk from an ex-OpenAI scientist, what stood out was not excitement. It was a concern. The message was not, look how cool this is. The message was more like, the pace is real, and most people are not mentally prepared. And if that makes you feel tense, that's normal. But this is where I want to shift the tone. We are not doing fear. We are doing preparation. Preparation looks boring from the outside. It looks like small daily moves, 1-minute habits, tiny rules you follow even when you do not feel motivated. Because motivation is not the thing that saves you. Discipline saves you. And I know that sounds like a quote poster, but I mean it in a very real way. Yesterday me is always smart. Yesterday me makes the plan. Yesterday me says, tomorrow I'll wake up early, I'll do deep work, I'll stop scrolling. Today me is the one holding the phone. Today me wants a snack. Today me wants to check one notification that turns into 20 minutes. That gap is where preparation dies. So we need habits that are so small they survive today me. Now I need to be honest with you. I have a love-hate relationship with time blocking. I love it because it works. I hate it because it feels like I'm putting my life in a cage. And if you have tried time blocking and failed, I want you to hear this clearly. That does not mean you are weak. It means you tried a system that is hard to maintain when your brain is tired. The goal is not to become a robot. The goal is to build a simple structure that protects you from your worst habits, especially when you are stressed. So here is my version of time blocking for this AI era. It is not perfect. It is not aesthetic. It is just practical. Pick one block every day, just one, where you do something that makes you harder to replace. Not everything, one thing. Some days that thing is reading one paper properly. Some days it is writing one paragraph. Some days it is building a better prompt and testing it. And yes, some days you will fail. But this is where yesterday me versus today me becomes useful. Yesterday me sets the block. Today me only has to show up for 1 minute. If today me can start, yesterday me usually wins. So what does preparation look like if you are a student, a PhD, or someone who does research-based work? It looks like building an AI workflow that makes you faster, but also keeps you honest. Here is the simple rule. Use AI as a thinking assistant, not a truth machine. That means you can use AI to brainstorm questions, outline a literature review, rewrite for clarity, and plan your schedule. But when it comes to claims, citations, and evidence, you need a grounded layer that ties back to real sources. This is where tools like Anara matter, because they help you keep your writing anchored to actual paper text. And I want to make this very practical, not abstract. When you are working on a literature review, the danger is not that you will plagiarize on purpose. The danger is that you will accept a clean-sounding summary that is slightly wrong, and then you will build your argument on that error. That's how credibility breaks, quietly. So preparation means you build a habit of checking. You build a habit of asking, where is this in the paper? You build a habit of quoting and tracing. It is slower at first, but it saves you from disaster later. Quick pause, because I know people will ask in the comments. If you want the AI tools that support research and literature writing, including tools like Anara and other assistants for academic workflows, I put the links under the description. Use them if they help you. Ignore them if they don't. My goal is not to push tools. My goal is to help you build a workflow that makes you faster and safer at the same time. Now let's talk about another angle that comes up a lot, including from voices like Eric Schmidt, which is the why this scales so fast argument. The idea is that these systems improve through huge amounts of structured training and feedback. They do not get tired, they do not get bored, they iterate. In programming, they can generate code, test it, correct it, and try again. In math, they can learn patterns between problems and solutions because math has a precise language. And when you do this at massive scale, you get capabilities that feel surprising to humans. And then you hear claims like, within 3 to 5 years, we could reach AGI. And maybe you think that sounds too extreme. That reaction is normal. But here is what I want you to take from it. Even if you disagree with the timeline, the direction is clear. The systems are moving toward broader capability, and the more they can plan, remember, and take actions, the more they stop being chatbots and start being agents. Agents are not just tools that answer questions. Agents do things. They monitor, they decide, they execute steps. That matters because it changes work. It changes who can compete. It changes what one person can produce. Even if you ignore the big AGI debate, agent systems alone are enough to change education and business workflows fast. There is also a second wave people underestimate, which is multimodal AI and longer context. Text-to-text models already changed writing. Multimodal models change how we handle images, audio, and data together. And longer context means these systems can keep track of more information over time, which helps planning and multi-step reasoning. That is the foundation for better agents. But here is the trap. When systems get better, it becomes easier to outsource your thinking. And that is why preparation is not only learn the tool. Preparation is also protect your mind. Use AI to amplify your work, not to replace your struggle. Because the struggle is where your skill is built. A literature review is not just a document. It is training for how you think. If you remove the thinking, you remove the point. So your habit has to be simple. Let AI speed up the boring parts, like formatting, rewriting for clarity, outlining, and planning. But keep the core human parts, the judgment, the verification, the logic of synthesis, the decision of what matters. That is how you stay valuable in a world where many people will choose the lazy path. So, if I had to turn all of this into 1-minute habits, here are the ones I personally try to follow, especially when today me wants to scroll. Pick up your phone and don't open social apps first. Open your notes. Write one sentence about what you're working on. Then open your AI tool and ask one focused question that helps you move forward, not escape. Then do one verification move. 1. Look for the sentence in the paper. Check the claim, confirm the citation. That is it. You do not need to become perfect. You just need to become consistent. Yesterday, me will always have the big plan. Today, me needs tiny wins. And over time, those tiny wins compound into real preparation. Because AI is not coming later. It is here. And the people who do well will not be the ones who are most excited. They will be the ones who build calm discipline and use these tools wisely. And that's the honest truth. We don't fully know how AI in research is going to evolve over the next few years. The rules are still being written. Journals are updating their policies. Universities are adjusting their guidelines. What is acceptable today might look slightly different tomorrow. But that uncertainty is not a reason to panic. It's a reason to stay informed and to use these tools carefully and responsibly. AI is not the enemy of research. It's a tool, a powerful one. But like any powerful tool, it needs boundaries. If you understand the rules, respect confidentiality, stay transparent, and make sure your own thinking stays at the center of your work, then AI can support you instead of putting you at risk. The goal is not to replace expertise. The goal is to enhance it. If this video helped clear things up for you, make sure you subscribe because I regularly break down how to use AI safely and effectively in research. And I highly recommend watching my next video where I go deeper into practical ways to use AI tools without crossing ethical lines. It will help you move forward with confidence. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.